Today, the Father instructs you to command your eyes to see and your ears to hear what the Holy Spirit is revealing to you at this very moment. You are not going to see the problem when you see with the eye of the Spirit, says the Father. Rather, you are going to see the solution to the problem. You will not be able to see what the devil is doing when you see with the eye of the Spirit. Rather, you will be able to see what I have already accomplished. The Father encourages you to open your spiritual eyes, so that you can stop being issue conscious and instead observe everything from the perspective of God consciousness. Thank you. Now is the time to enter the completed work of Calvary. Say to your spirit, I will not look at the problem, rather, I will look to the Father with my eyes. Do not look at the serpent that is coiled to strike you. Instead, look to what I have done for you 2,000 years ago. Just as Moses lifted up the brazen serpent in the desert and all those who looked upon it survived, I say to you, do not look at the serpent that is coiled to strike you. I will cause the smoke and mirror attack of the enemy to vanish, and you will come forth on solid footing and find the success that I have decreed for you to walk in. The Father says, look and live, and as you look to me, I will cause the smoke and mirror attack to disappear. Now is not the time to wander around in a timid manner. I tell you what the elders told Joshua, be strong, O my beloved, and have good courage. I say this to you. Meditate in my word at all times, day and night, even if it's just under your breath so that you can whisper my promise and my precepts. I am your vanguard in this hour, for my promise and my precepts are your guiding light. I may bring you into that come up higher place, where everything you set your hand to prospers and everything you say and do becomes as effective as if I said it or did it. I am drawing you with the cords as if you were a man so that I may bring you there. According to the Father, this is your rightful entitlement. Those sons and daughters who have been called by my name and who have been given the authority to become are entitled to this. This is the entitlement of sons. According to the Father, I invite you to enter into my becoming season. As you answer, the transaction of heaven will modify the experience you have throughout your life, and the pattern of heaven coming to earth will be used to measure each day of your life in every aspect of your existence. My ingenuity is at work in you, the Father says today, and I am not surprised. It is not necessary for you to be wise or intellectual because I am your wisdom and I am your defense. I am not calling for you to be wise. What I am doing in your life is not something that originates from your mind, rather, it is something that originates from my soul. According to the Father, your gray matter is not my dwelling place. You should be aware of the fact that the mind that is naturally present within you is not the only mind that is active. I have shared my thoughts with you, and my thoughts are stronger than your thoughts. I have given you my mind, and I have given you my thoughts. Therefore, consider thoughts that are more elevated, thoughts that arise from within my mind. Those ideas that communicate with you in the pauses that occur between these thoughts. Being a bequest, my thoughts are an entitlement that was bestowed upon me from the side of Calvary that was bleeding. For the time being, it is not appropriate to put your faith in natural reasoning, logic, or the rationale of the carnal mind. My thoughts are rumbling through you even now, and I am making myself known to you at new depths. Listen for my thoughts, says the Father, since my thoughts are rumbling through you. I will speak to you over your shoulder and say, this is the way, walk you in it. You will hear my voice. Because you cling to and lean not upon your own understanding, but rather listen to my voice, which will undoubtedly direct you to the problems and obstacles of life that would obstruct and stymie those things that represent the highest heart's desire in your life, you will not falter and you will not fail as a result of doing so. Therefore, the Father responds that now is not the time to be concerned with problems, rather, it is the moment to be concerned with God. The time has come for you to allow this mind to be in you, just as it was in Christ Jesus, who endured the contradiction of circumstances and sinners against himself in order to achieve the pleasure that was set before him. The delight that I have placed in front of you is evidence that the Father is not a fictitious imaginary being. It is true that I have made a promise to you, and I have also established a covenant that will fulfill the greatest dream and the utmost heart's desire simultaneously. I want you to dream a dream that is even grander. According to the Father, you have not been called to a destiny that is less than, but rather, you have been called to the highest places. A summons has been sent to you to mount up with wings as if you were an eagle. The first step is to start seeing things from my point of view, rather than from the point of view of limitation, lack, and disadvantage. Delight in the midst of the difficulty you are facing. Consider the following question: what would God do if He were in my position? Do that, the Father instructs you to do. You should tell yourself, and even those who doubt you, that you are going to act in a manner that is consistent with what God would do if He were in your position. You will be the only one remaining, holding the victor's crown and the mark of the prize of the high calling in Christ Jesus firmly in your hands. As you continue to do this, the blessing will come to meet you, the darkness will be dispelled, and the hand of the enemy will be destroyed. You will be the one who is left standing. In today's message, the Father explains that my joy is your resource and your strength for the challenge that lies ahead. Events and circumstances, which can occasionally vary on a daily basis, are the foundation of happiness. Your sense of well-being should not be based on the disposition of any one specific day. I am the dayspring that is coming up in your heart, and from that position of elevated authority, I will cause you to govern, and I will cause you to reign, and I will cause you to triumph over every challenge. Are there any challenges that I am unable to handle? I am the Lord, your God. If I were to move into your life, would there be any lengths I would not go to? The sufferings of the crucifixion and the offering of my one and only Son are examples of the lengths to which I will go in order to fulfill your requirements. Who would dare to say that I would withhold any smaller gift for which you have cried out to me so frequently if I choose not to withhold my own Son in order to fulfill your most pressing need? Therefore, be aware that the Father is saying that the response that I will always provide to you is yes. All of the things that you ask for on a daily basis have already been given to you in the finished work that was done on the cross. You will experience a breakthrough in your morning as the sun rises at noon, and things that had appeared to be so far away will suddenly be knocking on the door of your now. If you meditate on this, you will experience them. Are you able to provide an answer right now? Therefore, why should one pay attention to those individuals whose sole message is that, someday, one day, maybe things will get better? On this very day, I certify that your breakthrough is in the process of being accomplished, and that my objectives are being accomplished even as you take your next breath. According to what the Father has revealed to us today, the instructor is present inside you in the form of my Holy Spirit. It is not necessary for any man to instruct you because my Spirit will instruct you in all that is essential for living a godly life and being a successful person. When the voice of man gives instructions, the only thing that gives it any significance is the anointing that I bestow upon those individuals who consistently break the bread of my word by doing so. Therefore, acquire the ability to separate the priceless from the filthy and become aware of the distinction between that which starts from man and that which emerges from my splendor. The truth that I speak will always bring forth light, peace, and healing, and my glory will always set people free. Not only should you keep in mind that my word is good news, but you should also refrain from wasting time listening to those individuals whose only talent appears to be putting lipstick on the pig of the evil report. The sky is not falling, says the Father, and the kingdom is coming in. The kingdom is the kingdom of your Father, and I call you an entitled son and daughter. The sky is not collapsing. According to the Father, the riches of heaven are at your disposal, and the blueprint of glory that has come to earth is the template that I am using to form and fashion your existence. You are not living, moving, and having your being in a natural environment, but rather in the spiritual environment of my presence, my person, and my kingdom, the Father says today. He says this because we are living in the spiritual environment. The innate abilities of your mind were developed to assist you in navigating the natural world. The spiritual intellect that you possess was conceived with the intention of being an expression of my heart, my passion, and my love. It is not necessary for you to spend countless hours lying in bed and ruminating about the issues that need to be resolved during the day. Because it is impossible to address the problem on the same level as the problem, the human intellect will never be able to come up with solutions to the challenges you are facing. Now is the time for you to ascend to a higher level and be seated next to me. One intuitive realization of the breath of my nostrils breathing over you right now will instantaneously solve the problems that the natural mind continuously exhausts itself on. This is because the natural mind is obsessed with solving problems. Therefore, pay attention to the first witness that comes to you in the midst of a challenge, for it is the voice of my spirit. Immediately following this, the veins of a feeble intellect that is incapable of turning even a single hair white or black begin to jangle. Are you prepared to be freed from the burdens of tension, worry, and fear? Get ready. The Father explains that this is the way that leads upward. I invite you to come to me because my yoke is simple and my burden is slight. You should no longer pay attention to those voices that utter the phrase, "The burden of the Lord, the burden of the Lord." Because the burden that the Lord burdens is not heavy but rather light. On this day, I am lessening your burden and making available to you the resources of my splendor, which will completely transform your existence. I did not create your intellect with the intention of having it control your life, the Father declares today. Wherever my throne is located, I have placed the authority and dominion that I have within your spirit. In the event that your intellect desires to know the reason, this becomes an appropriation of my lordship. This is in accordance with what I have stated in my word, which is that the natural mind is hostile toward the spirit, and the spirit is hostile toward the natural mind. The mind of your body can be as stubborn as a kid at times, and you will need to exercise supervision over it in order to keep your concentration and accomplish the breakthrough that I have planned for you. Now, the Father is saying that I sent my apostles out into the world not only to gather decisions concerning my lordship but also to make disciples. Your mind must be disciplined in order to be obedient to the mind of my spirit, which I have put on the inside of you. This is the primary means by which you will experience discipleship in my kingdom. As a disciple, you must thus rise up and follow me. As someone who will not pause or turn back simply because your limited thinking is unable to measure or quantify what I am accomplishing, I invite you to follow me. Trust me, says the Father, I will deliver you from the limited understanding of your mind and allow you to reap the benefit of my ideas, which are higher than your thoughts, just as the mountains are higher than the sea. I will take you from the limited understanding of your mind. I will find you and anchor you in the heights, even the rarefied elevations of my glory that you have so cried out for in your life. Spread the wings of your spirit and leave the hen yard of human thinking behind. I will find you and anchor you in the heights. The Father has revealed to us today that when you make the decision to open your eyes and see with the eye of the Spirit, you will discover that you know more than you believe you know. I will cause you to know what your eyes have not seen, your ears have not heard, and those things that you have not learnt via natural process. Just as Paul appreciated and beheld the order of the Roman Church despite the fact that he had never been there, I will cause you to know all of these things through my Spirit. The Father says, learn to listen to the still small voice, because I will never yell or insist on being heard. Learning to listen to this voice is vital. My voice is the voice that mutters in the void that exists between your own thoughts. My voice is the still, small voice that others may disregard and consider to be nothing. Nevertheless, if you will listen to me, I will give you a testimony of power and favor that will beggar description. The Father tells you that it is time to walk on water, so go ahead and remove your shoes since the location you are currently in is holy ground. As soon as you commit to the point where there is no turning back, I will demonstrate my voice and bring about an expansion of step. Those who put their hands to the plow and turn their attention back to the spot where they might find safety do not bring joy to my soul. According to the Father, faith is about taking risks. Do you have something to lose right now? If you were to conquer the entire world, but you still lost the pearl of great price that was laid out for you, what would it be worth? It is the Father who says, "Take my hand." Permit your eyes to be fixated with a purposeful determination. Make a conscious decision not to return to the leeks and garlics of Egypt. Now is the time for you to leave from here. Be brave, obedient, and courageous because I am with you and you will not fail. This is what you have been waiting for your entire life, so be bold, faithful, and courageous. Your human spirit is not some ethereal, vestigial organ that serves no function or is of no use in this life, as the Father has demonstrated to you today. Your human spirit is a separate entity that resides inside you. Your spirit was designed to serve as a dwelling place for my presence, and it is from this place that I will establish my authority in your life and over your circumstances, particularly with regard to everything that is of interest to you. Considering that I am the one who possesses total authority and that I reside within your spirit, it follows that all rule originates from the heavenlies that I have implanted within you and travels through your spirit. You are not going to let your feelings, your own willpower, or the tyranny of your unsanctified brain to exert any influence over you. As I cleanse you, I am converting you into the image that I have of myself. As a result of the fact that I am a spirit, you are also. Your spirit is created in my image, and it is that image that is prevailing from inside you to dominate and exercise dominion over everything in your life. You are a spirit that I brought into existence. In light of this, do you not believe that it is high time that you started taking responsibility and exercising power over the jurisdiction that I have assigned to you? The time has come to begin ruling and reigning, says the Father. What are you eagerly anticipating? Observation is not a prerequisite for entering my domain. The manifestation of my kingdom will not take place in accordance with some illusory notion that exists in the minds of enlightened theologians. In you is the kingdom of mine. This moment is my kingdom. Are you able to provide an answer right now? Is it possible for you to accept today as the day of your visitation? As a result of the city of Jerusalem's failure to recognize the time of their arrival, it was destroyed. In the middle of you, I call upon you to come to an understanding of who I am and to accept everything that I am willing to do. You are a land that I call a delightsome land, and my purposes are being established in you today, says the Father. Open your eyes and have ears to hear what I have to say. The Father has revealed to us today that when you make the decision to prioritize the pursuit of the kingdom, there is only one possible consequence. To fulfill the promise that I made in my word, when you seek the kingdom, everything else will be added to you. It is the Father who declares, all means all. In that straightforward and all-encompassing three-letter phrase, is there anything that I have neglected to mention that you find to be of concern? According to the Father, the book of Scripture cannot be broken. At this point, there is no doubt about whether or not everything will be included. Can you answer the issue of whether or not you are ready to be a radical, unqualified, and unrestricted seeker of the kingdom? In my kingdom, there is no such thing as failure. In my kingdom, there is no disorder or illness. There is no defeat in the realm that I rule. In my kingdom, you will come to know and experience who I am as your all in all, both in this life and in the life that is to come. There will be no lack, no want, and no rejection because you will get all of these things. According to the Father, you should focus your life on my kingdom. Pay no attention to people who insist that they are aware of the priorities that you should prioritize. I told Martha that her sister Mary had chosen that one thing that was required and necessary, and that was to learn about me. Be as Mary was when she sat at my feet, and I stated to her that she had chosen to learn about me. According to the Father, my yoke is light, and my burden is an easy one. In accordance with the promise that I made to you, I will never ask you to shoulder the burden that the sacrifice of the cross stripped away from you. Now, direct all of your concern onto the one who is concerned about you. You will experience the joy of the blessing that comes upon you, and overtakes you, and fulfills every need, and want as I convert you into my image and cause you to know what it means to be a favored one in my family if you give yourself over to a mentality that places the kingdom itself at the forefront of your priority. Turn your attention inward and be aware that I am the door that is located within you, says the Father. I did not go to the cross in order to cultivate a dependent on the outside world. A door in the heavens has been opened by me, and the entrance to that spiritual breezeway is found within you, not in any other resource that is external. It is my throne that serves as the entrance, the gateway that enables me to access everything that heaven has to offer, both in this life and the next. Instruct your eyes to open and your ears to listen to what is being said. Pay attention to the voice that comes from inside, for the voice that comes from the outside is not the voice of your shepherd. The entire apparatus of my kingdom is designed to accomplish one goal, and that is to activate who I am and what I am capable of doing within you as the hope of glory that transforms everything it comes into contact with. The Father invites you to enter into my eternal presence. Time has an effect on everything that could be considered temporal as well as anything that can be observed by the naked eye. Those things that are visible to the naked eye are ephemeral and subject to change, whereas those things that are not visible to the naked eye on the inside of you are unchanging, everlasting, and unalterable. Therefore, devote your thoughts and feelings to the things that are higher. Reduce your feelings so that they are focused on my throne, rather than on any other distractions that the adversary may try to set in your path. There are rivers of live water that I have placed inside you, and today the flood tides are open to remodel the floodplains of your experience in a way that reflects my goodness, my blessing, and my favor in a different way. I say, look at who I am within, and I want you to enable the reality of who I am in your life to overpower any limitations, deficiencies, or depredations that the adversary may have. This day, the Father tells us not to be afraid since He is with us. You are provided for in the same way that I provide for the sparrow that no one pays attention to. Since the beginning of time, I have never taken my gaze off of you. Therefore, it is not essential for you to get my attention because I have never stopped looking at you. It is not necessary for you to pray for a long time or in a difficult manner in order to receive a response from my hand. Hear me, my son and daughter. Prior to bending my ear low to your scream, there are no formulas or litanies that need to be recited in order for me to do so. I want you to know, my dearest, that I have never turned down any of your petitions on the basis of a technicality, as if I would jump at the chance to say no. When I am approached by you, I will always respond with a yes. The question is whether you are ready to accept yes as an answer or whether you anticipate a default negative reaction. My heart is a universal statement of love toward you, and the cross is that expression. I would not withhold the gift of the only begotten if I would not withhold any other gift of lesser value. Therefore, come to me today and every day with the straightforward expectancy of a kid who gets up to eat his breakfast. You are aware that I am present, and I see to it that all of your requirements are met. One group of people takes great pleasure in sabotaging the expectations of others who come with a straightforward faith, but these individuals are blind leaders of the blind. At this point in your life, it is essential for you to declare your commitment to my heart and reject the false authority of those who are ignorant. Today, my heart is filled with a greater affection for you. When it comes to you, my heart is open today. Dearly beloved, I invite you to come to me and receive from my hand everything that you have requested. This day, the Father has shown to me that I am not a distant God. I am not some reclusive or aloof figure who lives on a mountain that is cloaked in mystery. I have no intention of waiting to unleash a barrage of lightning on the unfortunate inhabitants of this planet. To the contrary, my dearly beloved, I am a loving Father who is deeply interested in each and every facet of your development. Not only am I not bored with you, but I am also not distracted by anything else that could divert my attention away from the intense examination I am conducting on your life in order to demonstrate my devotion on a daily basis. This day, the Father says, you will receive of my constant faithfulness. I invite you to drink from the streams of my faithfulness toward you, and have faith that I have everything that is of concern to you under control. Put the words, "Blessed is the man who puts his trust in the Lord," into your heart, since you will not feel ashamed of yourself. Others keep an eye on you and wait for the opportunity to make fun of your failure. While they are waiting for you to fail, they are nodding their heads in agreement with the knowledge that the world has to offer. Due to the fact that I will never abandon you, they are going to have to wait for a very long time, says the Father. You will never be abandoned by me. I promise that I will never remove my hand from you. Let your heart give in to this comprehension, and allow yourself to attain a state of relaxation. The Father encourages you to take a deep breath and to relax into my everlasting arms, which are filled with love, sustenance, and safety for your life. According to the Father, the moment has come for you to begin your new assignment. In order to free yourself from the hypnotism of the current situation, you must first ascend to a new anticipation. Because I know that waiting for hope to come true makes the heart sick, I will not wait any longer to make my goodness known to you today. Because I am a good God, I extend to you an invitation to take part in all I have to offer. However, I say to you, rise up and take up your bed of affliction, sorrow, and unhappiness and walk toward my purposes. You have been waiting upon me to do some things, but I can tell you that I am about to do something. Walk in the direction of my plans with a sense of adventure and a renewed sense of passion. For the sake of my name, do not be afraid or hesitant to take risks. As you move toward me with a heart that is full of anticipation and bravery, I am bringing you to rest in a setting that is fraught with danger, where all of the desires that are in your heart are waiting to be spontaneously satisfied. No more waiting about and pondering, then. There will be no more endlessly listing all of your shortcomings or repeating a gloomy litany of reasons why I will not act on your behalf. If you could peek into the future, you would see that the efforts you put into worrying are doing nothing except wasting your time and energy. Therefore, you should be encouraged and joyful. We shall not allow the adversary to gain the upper hand. You will be guided by me. I am going to correct you. I will alter your path if you would give me permission to do so, and I will bring you to a place of expansion and blessing that is beyond anything you could have imagined. The Father reminds us that if we wait just a little bit longer, I will come into your life and make my presence known. This will take the adversary by complete surprise. The adversary of your soul did not come up with the concept of ambush, I did. I am going to set a trap in front of the enemy that will cause him to suffer severe injuries in your life and will deliver you safely out of his reach. At one point in time, Satan had the opportunity to take the sons of God and present them before my throne. My servant Job was the target of his accusation, but he was unable to obtain the information. During the time of Job, there was no mediator. Upon the altar in the heavenlies, there was not a single drop of blood. If the accuser shows there, he will not be able to make a case against the blood that is on the altar. You have been vindicated by the blood that was shed for you. The fact that blood was shed for you demonstrates that you are blameless and that you are entirely guiltless. Do not, therefore, respond to the accusations that the adversary has leveled against you, says the Father. It seems as if they are not heard. Since I am not going to answer to your criticisms, I am curious as to why you are listening to them. Men are always going to be critical. Determine that you will never allow criticism to enter your mouth and make it your goal to do so. The heart of the critic is the heart of people who do not believe. One's heart is the heart that despises the blood that has been shed, and that is the heart of the critic. The Father says, I do not place any value upon the words of a mocker, therefore, why should I listen to them? I am going to correct you whenever you feel the need to do so. I have the ability to gain your attention, and I will always bring you back to the ground level of obedience and conformity to my nature in a loving manner. So take a break from the never-ending criticisms of those who are ignorant and lacking in enlightenment today. It is more important to direct your focus toward the cleaning flow of my mercy that has found you on this day in order to cleanse and renew you. The Father has declared that today is a brand new day. It is a new day, and the manna that it was yesterday has produced worms. According to the Father, the things that you relied on the day before to comprehend my objectives will not provide you with assistance or nourishment or support you today. Instead of packing your spiritual lunch with the understandings of the past, stop doing so. You will be brought from glory to glory, and I will make it possible for you to experience my infinite wisdom, which you were not even capable of receiving 24 hours ago. The Father encourages you to open your heart. Despite the fact that you have perceived yourself to be incapable of receiving direct revelation, you should unlimber your mind. It is on this day that I will begin to show myself to you in a manner that is specific to your journey and the experiences you have had. When you are at this level and in this manner, you do not require the instruction of any man because I will personally guide you in a manner that no other person could ever accomplish. Therefore, I urge you once more to receive my spirit by opening your mind and your heart. Take a look inward and listen for my voice. When you open the scriptures with new eyes, you will see the manna lying on the ground, conveniently located within your reach. There is no significance in whether or not other people comprehend or recognize the significance of what I whisper to you. It makes no difference if your contemporaries enjoy or comprehend the information that I have transmitted to you because this is only for you to view. This is specifically for your eyes to behold. In the words of the Father, drink deeply. Take a deep breath and consume the bread of heaven to the fullest extent possible, since the voyage is about to begin, and you will travel for many days using the strength that this food provides. Today, the Father has informed you that you are a traveler. In this life, you are a sojourner and a traveler, so you should learn to pack as little as possible. It is not necessary for you to bring with you all that has happened in the past, as if there is not going to be provision for every need in the future. Everything should be held loosely. Prepare yourself to let go of previous connections and relationships that just do not fit in with the path that I am taking you on at this moment. There are many instances in which relationships and friendships become strained not because there is a genuine issue, but rather because I am taking on these responsibilities. In the midst of a disagreement, Abraham and Lot fell on each other's necks and sobbed with love and compassion. I am moving you on into the next phase of your life, therefore, you should do it with grace. I really want you to be aware of the fact that they were aware that it was time for a change. Let us move on with our lives. It is time for you to look for the next project that I have prepared for you to do later. As you prepare yourself for what is ahead, there will be a period of time during which you will be hiking through the woods. The elimination of unbelief and a lack of discipline is something that is really required. You should be prepared to let some things go in a gracious and obedient manner because there are certain routines and viewpoints that will not help you in the direction that I am taking you. Those are things that other people might do, but you cannot. You have made a request for the high country in my spirit, and in order to fulfill that request, you will need to arrange your life in accordance with a different dynamic. Even if it is a different experience to live for me at that elevation, are you not prepared to leave the plains of Sodom in order to enter the depths of your connection with me? If such is the case, the Father says, I ask you to come. We need to get up and get going since the hour is late, and the adventure is right around the corner. In this day and age, the Father declares, I have your answers. The solutions to your questions are waiting for you while the banker, the doctor, and the politician are all scratching their heads in bewilderment. I am the truth for you. It is not a body of theology that is the source of the truths that I have anchored in your life, rather, they originate from my person. It is not for the purpose of introducing theology into your way of thinking that I sent my Son to die. There is no divine blueprint that will protect you from what lies ahead of you. I am your tabernacle and I am your tent. I am your tent. You will be safe if you decide to run into me. Come into contact with my name, and leave behind those who are enslaved by pride and the process of processing. I am not a God who only possesses cables and buttons. Word combinations or tactics that are kept a secret are not anything that exist. According to the Father, are you not experiencing exhaustion from all of that foolishness? What might possibly be a different kind of religious legalism? I invite you to come to me and to take my rest. Your yoke should be easy, and your burden should be light. You do not need to be concerned about what the adversary is going to do in the near future. Are you not aware that he is a member of the squad that is losing? Given that you have already been awarded the reward, why should you bother yourself with this playbook? Put your trust in me. I invite you to find rest in me today and to find refreshment in my faithfulness. Focus your attention solely on my face, and not on anything else. Right now, I am here, and I am working on your behalf to ensure that all of the things that are important to you are protected. Today, the Father tells you that the decrees you make within yourself will make their way out into the world. There is no requirement for you to proclaim from the rooftops who I am claiming you to be. Your inward statements have a greater impact on the way your external circumstances are shaped than you will ever be aware of due to the fact that my kingdom is within you. The Father instructs us to declare and decree. It is impossible for you to ignore the fact that you are a masterpiece that was crafted by the master craftsman because you are a creature that was fashioned and molded by the Master. There is no way to deny this fact. You are not a result of a biological confluence. You were fashioned and brought forth from the uncreated material of the universe, and then you were molded into the gorgeous form that you see when you close your eyes and look within. On this day, I am calling upon you to declare what you see and to know yourself in the same way that I knew you before the earth was even created. The Father says, my word is the mirror. Let the looking glass of my promise finally convince and persuade you of how fearfully and wonderfully you are made. My word is the mirror. Neither a comparison nor a proof can be established because there is nothing to prove. You are a one-of-a-kind present that I have brought into the world, and now is the time for you to shine just as you deserve to shine. In today's message, the Father says, my ear is bent low to hear even the faintest whisper you have to say. It is not necessary for you to yell. I am not far away from you, and I do not have any other concerns that are diverting my attention away from your most basic concern. You should be aware of the fact that there is no necessity in your life that is not under my observation, even if I count the very hairs on your head. It is not the remote and stern mocking that the religious portray me as, rather, it is who I am and what I do. Consider me to be the one who cares about you and oversees your life. I am aware of the image that the religious conjures up of my absence and patronage, and I would like to make it abundantly apparent to you that they have completely misunderstood me. I have a strong desire to bring the complete spectrum of my goodness into your life, and I am relentlessly working toward that goal. I am exerting the whole force of my goodness in order to take advantage of every chance to offer to you all of the advantages that come with the dreadful cost of Calvary. On this day, the Father says, it is yours to receive of my riches. It is important to reject the sour remnants of religious experience. Embrace the banner and ensign of my favor and blessing, which was purchased with the priceless blood of Jesus Christ. I love you very much, says the Father, and on this day, you will have the full benefit of my love that is unending. Have the faith of God, as the Father instructs you to do today. Have the same level of self-assurance in your journey with me as I exhibited when I gazed out over creation and proclaimed, "Let there be light," and it came into existence. If you speak the thing that you desire, the Father says, then the desires that are in your heart will become real. Being a part of my kingdom does not include being deprived or denying anything. What the cross has paid for in an irreversible way, I will never refuse to give to you. There is no requirement for you to go through pain in order to obtain what I went through in order to provide. The Sanhedrin of the uninformed are those who teach contrary to the established order. Please allow the blind to lead the blind. Make it your decision to pay attention to my voice and become the one who triumphs over every scheme that the adversary has devised. It is not inevitable that you will fall into the hands of the adversary, says the Father. My hand is with you to cater for your needs. It is my opinion that you are entitled. You are the one in whom I have placed all of heaven's treasures, and I call you my brother. Raise yourself up into your position, says the Father, for your place in Christ was purchased with blood. That which I freely give to you cannot be earned by you. Your conscience should be cleansed of any and all works consciousness as well as the corrupting influence of religious pollution. Because you are both my son and my daughter, it is a great pleasure for me to bestow the kingdom upon you. As of today, the Father has spoken to us that I do not look down on you when you cling to me. You are not being treated with contempt when you run to my name in the same way that a child runs to its mother's arms. It is not true that I look down on you or that I detest the fact that you are dependent on me. The fact that you have decided to find a place of refuge in my courts is a cause for celebration for me, for it is because of this that the price of Calvary was paid on your behalf. The Father says, I have prepared a place here by me for you to spend your time. I am a God who is attentive to his people and who hears their cries, even the wailing cries that come during the nighttime seasons and throughout your times of anguish and despair. Be assured that you will hear my voice in the morning, even if you have cried to me in the middle of the night. My word of comfort will be heard on your behalf, and my voice of thunder will be heard against the adversary who has encroached upon your borders. All of these things will be heard by you. There are many who make the erroneous assertion that I set a high value on suffering, but I do not take delight in the wickedness of man that is committed against you, and I will not tolerate the evil that wants to reside in your midst. The stupidity of those who are irresponsible enough to think they can play with you will be consumed by the blast of my nostrils, says the Father. In your life, I shall serve as an example for them. Iniquity will be removed from your borders as a result of my interference. I am going to eliminate the dishonesty of those who are dishonest, and I am going to remove from you those who are dishonest and bloody. On the other hand, you will be fully established in my house and in the purposes that I have for you. You will experience the sweetness of my goodness, and you will take a deep drink from the abundance of my mercies. In the sacred place that I have prepared for you, says the Father, you will worship, and you will not be terrified of the devouring of your soul by the villain. As you walk with compassion, patience, and gentleness toward those around you, the Father says that you are climbing in authority. He says this to you today. I want you to know that I am aware of the trouble that you have been experiencing and that I am aware of the helplessness that you are experiencing. The fact that I am your helper means that you are not helpless. A divine intervention brought about by my hand is going to take place in the circumstances that are surrounding you that become vital. For the aim of establishing my purposes and turning the hearts of those who are interested, I have a committee that is responsible for finding ways and means. My promise is that I will not give the adversary the opportunity to gain the upper hand in your life or in the lives of those people whom you cherish and love with all of your heart. Continue to walk in love, says the Father, and give people around you the love and the bounds that come from my heart and my thoughts, which are transmitted to you even now. Continue to walk in love. I am dismantling the strategy that the adversary has devised. Yes, healing and even deliverance will occur, and the outcome that the adversary is aiming for and anticipating will be overturned. Righteousness will be established, and healing will come. In the words of the Father, you should not let the diagnosis of man determine what will and will not take place in your life. I am the great physician, and I am also your deliverer, and I am also your accountant and your attorney. I am coming through for you at the hour that has been ordained, as the psalmist has stated, hope thou in God. The Father declares that your joy will be great, and that your celebration will not be unnecessary. In today's message, the Father assures us that your glory will not be transformed into humiliation. Because you have placed your trust in me, the Father assures you that you will not be let down. It is possible that other people will look at the trust that you have placed in my word and make fun of it, but you should know that at the end of the day, you will feast on my faithfulness. You should be aware that I am not a male, and as a result, I do not lie or provide guarantees that are not true. It is the Father who declares, I have set you apart for myself. Before anything else, my relationship with you is the most important thing in my life. Prior to constructing the kingdoms of men or expressing my religious beliefs, I am working toward creating a daily relationship with you that is characterized by closeness of heart and intimacy. Do not allow yourself to be sidetracked by the events that are taking place in your immediate environment, as this is the strategy employed by the adversary to divert your focus away from my goodness and onto other matters. Despite the fact that this is a period of separation, nothing of significance to the kingdom will be lost. You will be able to draw yourself away from those illegitimate and distracting relationships that you might draw yourself away from in order to come to know me in a more profound way than you have in the past, because I will create a gap between both of you. I shall have a conversation with you throughout the nighttime seasons while you are lying in bed. Because my kingdom is within you, the Father continues, you should look within yourself, because that is where I will be found and where I will envelop you in my love and my proximity. I will care for you and promote your healing in ways that no human hand could ever do. I am going to speak words of love and life to you, and I will bring laughter back into your life. This is not the meritless laughter of a heart that is empty, rather, it is the profound joy of a soul that has finally found love in a way that is genuine and unmeasurable, and it is something that cannot be taken away from you. The Father instructs us to be still. Find that area of calm in that time, and know that my presence is the native environment where you will find tranquility in every circumstance. This is the location where you will find peace.